Welcome to our channel of stories based on true events. Subscribe to the channel if you like this content. In the heart of a small isolated town stands an abandoned house. This ruined building, with broken windows and creaking doors, hides within it a labyrinth of corridors and rooms, each reflecting countless images through dusty mirrors, some intact, others shattered. The protagonist of our story is a middle-aged man, a former stalker, who takes refuge in this house after prison, trying to escape the eyes of the world. His neglected appearance and constantly restless look testify to his constant fear of being discovered. His life in this house begins to take a disturbing turn when he begins to notice figures appearing in mirrors, figures that aren't there when he turns to look. Initially, he believes they are just a figment of his imagination, but soon, these apparitions become more frequent and threatening, portraying accusatory and distorted figures. The tension is reached when he comes face to face with the apparition of the woman. In an emotional and psychological confrontation, the man is forced to face the consequences of his past actions. The story ends with an ending shrouded in mystery, leaving various interpretations open. The last scene shows the now empty house, with a mirror reflecting the image of the man walking away, slowly disappearing into the darkness. Even today, it is not known how the man disappeared, fueling legends and speculation among the town's residents. This is a story that weaves together themes of guilt, redemption, and irreversible consequences against a backdrop of terror and the paranormal. In a frenetic metropolis, where life moves fast and secrets are hidden in every corner, lives Elena, a freelance photographer with an exceptional talent for capturing urban life through her lens. But behind the daily routine, something dark lurks. A shadow begins to appear in Elena's life, a disturbing presence that will transform her existence into a palpable nightmare. A shadow begins to appear in Elena's life, a disturbing presence that will transform her existence into a palpable nightmare. The story begins with mundane incidents: the sensation of being watched, a furtive glance caught for an instant in the mirror, a figure that seems to follow her. At first, Elena dismisses these events as figments of her imagination. But soon, the presence becomes bolder. Photographs of her, taken secretly, begin to appear under her door, each image of her a disturbing reminder of his constant surveillance. Elena, with a resolve born of her fear, decides to face her stalker. She begins to document every day, hoping to capture some evidence, but the photos she takes are always blurry, almost as if the stalker is always one step ahead, a ghost that evades any attempt to be revealed. The situation worsens when threatening messages begin to arrive. Every written word is a sharp blade that threatens her safety, revealing intimate details of her life that only an obsessive and constant observer could know. Her home, which was once her sanctuary, becomes a theater of disturbing shadows and suspicious noises, making it a place of terror and anxiety. At the heart of the story, it turns out that the stalker is a failed photographer, obsessed with the idea that Elena has stolen her unique style. This crazy thought pushed him into a vortex of jealousy and revenge. Elena courageously immerses herself in the man's murky past, discovering a trail of obsession, madness, and a history of repeated stalking. The climax is reached on a stormy night, when Elena decides to confront the stalker directly. In a tense and suspenseful scene, she comes face to face with him in a place she had photographed, an old abandoned warehouse. In this confrontation, Elena uses her skill and her wits to trap the photographic man, creating a scenario that attracts the attention of the police. The story ends with the arrest of the stalker, but the ending is anything but reassuring. Elena, though free from the shadow of her persecutor, is haunted by the memory of her actions. The streets of the city, once a stage for her art, are now a labyrinth of anxieties and fears. Even with the stalker behind bars, the echoes of her obsession continue to resonate in Elena's mind. A reminder that true terror can lie not only in the outside world, but also in the depths of the human psyche. In a city where glass skyscrapers stand majestically under gray skies, the life of Marco, a reserved and methodical programmer, hides a dark secret. Behind his daily routine and apparent normality, Marco hides a disturbing personality. He is a digital stalker who insinuates himself into other people's lives through the labyrinth of social media and the internet. Obsessed with Sarah, a young college student with a vibrant social life. Sarah's days begin to take on darkness when she realizes she is being followed online by a disturbing presence. Anonymous likes, subtly threatening comments under her photos, and cryptic messages invade her virtual space. These signals start as a barely audible whisper but soon turn into an incessant scream. Fake accounts in his name begin spreading rumors and damaging information, plunging Sarah into an abyss of paranoia and fear. Meanwhile, Marco, hidden behind his computer screen, watches Sarah's every move. Every post of him, every photo of him becomes a piece of a puzzle that he puts together with maniacal obsession. His ability to hide in the digital shadows makes him almost untouchable, a ghost haunting the corridors of the internet. The tension reaches unsustainable levels when Marco begins to violate not only Sarah's online space, but also her real life. He begins to follow her, first discreetly, then more and more boldly. Sarah feels her presence like a threatening shadow that gets longer and longer, a cold breath on the back of her neck on a deserted street, a fleeting reflection in a shop window. On a moonless night, Marco's obsession drives him to a direct encounter with Sarah. He appears out of nowhere in a dark alley as she's walking home, a dark smile on his face that reflects his warped mind. Sarah, scared but determined, will decide that it's time to face her stalker. In a bold and desperate move, Sarah turns the game on its head. Using her new computer skills, she tracks Marco's digital trail and exposes him to the light. In a tense scene, she confronts him, revealing that she has discovered his identity. The flashing lights of a neon sign illuminate their final confrontation, as the rain begins to fall. The police, thanks to the information provided by Sarah, intervenes and arrests Marco. However, the story ends leaving a sense of uneasiness. Despite the arrest, the fingerprint that Marco left in Sarah's life remains a deep scar. The streets of the city, once places of freedom, are now transformed into a labyrinth of shadows and doubts.